Hello, everyone. I chose Women's Declaration of Rights. After reading excerpts from Elizabeth's speech, it becomes very clear that she's attempting to rewrite the Declaration of Independence, but adding women to it. She goes on to talk about severe injustices and inequalities women face. Things such as equal pay, property rights, divorce and custody control, and then, of course, the right to vote. As a young woman, she grew up in a high-class family, great schooling. Her dad was a lawyer, and she hung around the office with him quite a bit, which gave her a lot of legal knowledge. She grew up. She took an interest in legal work and activists. She married Henry Stanton, an abolitionist, and together they worked on anti-slavery movements. So where this speech really comes from is when she was going to attend the World Anti-Slavery Society Convention in London, and her and other women were not allowed in the convention, and this was, of course, normal at the time, and it went to a vote, and they were forced to sit in the gallery, watch in silence. This angered her and many other women who had worked closely with this movement and were just cast out and not given any credit for it. So she took this built-up anger and went back home to the U.S., where she began to fight for women's rights. In the beginning, she was very small, didn't have a lot, but she held a convention and got a work from one of her helpers, who ended up doing a lot of her bigger work later on, because she also worked closely with the U.S. abolition of slavery. So her speech comes at a time where many other countries had already abolished slavery and the U.S. was working towards it. There were many unorganized groups at the time. So this was a era of starting to see the rights of other people and working to get those. So her speech, although had great, like I said, for equal pay and all that, those didn't come for many years, but she paved the path and began work on a very important topic in women's rights. Okay, all right, now to read the speech. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, whenever a form of government becomes a destructive of these ends. It is the right of those who suffer from it to refuse allegiance to it, and to insist upon the institution of a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such a form as to them shall meet most likely to affect their safety and happiness. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, devises a device to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards of their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of women under this government, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to demand the equal station to which they are entitled. Man has endeavored in every way that he could to destroy their confidence, own powers, to lessen her self-respect, and to make her willing to lead dependent and abject life. Now, in the view of this entire disenfranchised and one half of the people of this country, their social and religious degradation, in view of the unjust laws above mentioned, and because women do feel themselves aggrieved, oppressed, and fraudulently deprived of their most sacred rights, we insist they have immediate mission to all rights and privileges which belong to them as citizens of the United States. Thank you.